Hello everyone, my name is Yulia. On behalf of Cambridge Assessment English, I would like to welcome you to the second day of our online course TKT. If you can hear me well, please put a plus in the chat box. Thank you very much for your reactions. I'd like to remind you that this course will give you an overview of 5 Tkt modules, 3 core modules. Module 1, we discussed it yesterday. Module 2, this is our webinar today. Module 3, we'll talk about it on the 24th of June. And specialist modules, Tkt Clear, the 29th of June, and Tkt YL, Young Learners, the 28th of June. If you haven't registered for the next sessions, please do it. The registration is still open. I will share the links with you in the chat box. So, just a second. Here are the links. Please save them and register if you haven't done it yet. The recording of all our webinars are added to our YouTube channel, Cambridge Assessment English Russia. The link is in the chat box as well. Please follow us on YouTube. Before we start, I would like to give you some instructions. If you are watching the webinar from your desktop or laptop, we recommend you to use Google Chrome. If you're using your mobile phone, it's better to use an official application, webinar.ru. If you cannot hear or see the presenter, please reload the webinar page or reconnect to your internet connection. Please be an active participant. We will be happy to answer all your questions. Provide feedback, ask questions. Just a reminder, please be sure to type your questions in the question box. Chat is used for some general communication during the session, and after we will be happy to discuss your questions. Don't forget to put them in the question box. There we will not miss them. And as I said before, this webinar will be recorded and will be added to our YouTube channel. There will be a follow-up email with your certificates of attendance. The email will be distributed within a week of the webinar. We issue certificates only to those who have attended the webinar. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I see there are so many participants from different parts of Russia and not only Russia. Hello, Kazakhstan. Hello, Armenia. Thank you very much for joining us today. Okay, so I think that it's time to start our session, and I'm happy to introduce our presenter, Anna Kosheva, teacher trainer, and Cambridge Assessment English presenter. Hello,
Julia.
Anna.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, can you see the
I
presentation?
Can see. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm really delighted to give you a second input session on Tkt Core Models. Well, as Yulia has already mentioned, we are here to give you an overview of all Tkt models. I'll be responsible for the first 3 input sessions, and then my colleagues will join you and guide you, talking about the specialist models. So we have already started working on the first model. Type in a plus if you attended yesterday's session. Okay, so we have quite a few experts there. I'm going to elicit quite a lot of ideas from you because, you know, there is an element of consolidation, revising, recycling, information and then expanding a little bit too. Great. And in spite of the fact each module has a kind of specialism area, TKT3 models are really connected to one another. And today we'll be talking more about teaching materials, lesson planning. So preparing for lessons will be our priority. Of course, the way we prepare for our lessons, the choice of our materials will depend on our attitude towards learning and teaching, like what approaches we like using, how we understand our learners' needs and things like that. So something that we've discussed yesterday will be still relevant for this module. And obviously all of the information will be important for the third model as well, which we'll be working on Thursday. So my name is Anna Kasheva. I'm a teacher trainer and I'm involved in running different teacher training courses, including CELTA, TKT preparation courses, Delta and Certificate in Advanced Methodology and many other courses, including how to teach young learners. Right, so those of you who were here yesterday, you remember the routine, something that I usually elicit from you, something about your context, your teaching context, where you're from. I can see quite a few answers already in the chat box. Now remind me if you work for a state school or you're working privately, and if you deal with young learners or adults. What's your teaching context? Private school, university, private, okay. Quite a lot of tutors here, that's great, that's great. Rostov-on-Don, wow, I'm going to that city on Sunday, fantastic. So I hope to see you around university, yeah. Okay, quite a lot of teachers from different state schools, some private schools, but mainly private tutors, which is actually awesome, yeah, because being a private tutor is not easy. You have to motivate yourself to develop professionally, and TKT is one of the ways actually, which is really affordable. Yeah, teenagers and adults. All right, good. Sochi, wow, that's great. Assistant, do you mean a teaching assistant? Oh, that's interesting. State exams, okay. Exam preparation is another step towards professional development. Yeah, perhaps you start by working with general English courses, and then, okay, IELTS, interesting. Well, TKT is not about exam preparation. It gives basic, well, the questions cover basic areas related to teaching, learning, and classroom management aspects. And today we'll be talking about lesson planning. I understand if you work with exam classes, then perhaps you need something else, not only TKT, yeah, to become better at that. But it's always good to brush up on some basic principles of teaching. Right. Okay, so you've been working at a state school, and or you started working at a state school, yes, Tatiana, yeah? Okay, so it's good actually to come back to the profession, yeah, after a gap. It's really refreshing. Okay, great, awesome, thank you very much. So just to remind you, oh, I should have asked you a question to elicit how many models we've got, yeah? So probably you remember that there are 5 modules in TKT, and we are focusing on the 3 core models today, and yeah, we started talking about them yesterday. And I'm just reminding you that there are 2 specialist modules that you can choose if you are interested in developing in a particular area. Yes, exactly, Larissa, 3 + 2, that's what it is, yeah. There used to be some other modules in the past, but now they are no longer available. And there are obvious reasons for that. There was an overlap in between courses that Cambridge offered, and now I think the system is clearer. So, again, yesterday we've talked a little bit about background to language teaching, and you became aware of some techniques and approaches. Yeah, exactly. That's the one, Daria, that is no longer available. Okay, so those of you who are planning to pass TKT, good news, you can't fail it. Of course you will pass. Yeah, good luck with that. And yeah, you will be able to answer 80 questions, and depending on the number of the accurate answers, yeah, you will be awarded a certificate which will look like this. Right, and if you have an extensive, if you have extensive knowledge, yeah, if you understand all the aspects and can apply them confidently, then probably you'll be awarded band 4. It's really achievable. It's not rocket science, to be honest. Yeah, in 2 days. Wow, that's good, Nadezhda. So that's a refresher course for you. But even if you have only basic knowledge, you'll be awarded the certificate. It's just the band will be slightly different. Okay, so exactly. So it's really a very positive experience. Whatever your knowledge, level of knowledge is, you'll be able to get this certificate. So more information will be available at this website, which I have already highlighted yesterday, but just to remind you where you can read more about all the models, and in particular the core models. So if you go to Cambridge English website, thank you for the link, Julia. So we've got quite a lot of useful resources which are available for free. And I have already highlighted them, but probably I have a couple of slides about them again, just to remind you what is important to download and what you can work with. Yeah, so on that, if you follow the link, you will be able to find a school where you can register and take the exam. Do that in advance so that you can choose the best date available. Yes, and which materials you can find there for free is, first of all, the handbook. There is one handbook for the core models. It covers all 3 models there, and separate booklets for Tkt Young Learners and Tkt CLIL. There is one glossary that is available for Tkt, Tkt Core Models and Tkt Young Learners. If you are interested in taking Tkt CLIL, there is a special glossary for that. And there are some sample papers that you can also find at that website. Those of you who are keen on reading more about methodology, I can recommend a couple of books that may help you. So we've got the course book, yeah, which is really relevant if you prepare for Tkt 3 models. There is another course book for Tkt CLIL that you can find. Unfortunately, there is no such a book as Tkt Young Learners, but I can recommend you reading Jane Moon's book, Children Learning English. That'll be really useful for those of you who prepare for Tkt Young Learners. But I'm sure a colleague of mine will give you some other ideas how to prepare for that model. I'm also showing you a couple of good books that you may find useful, whatever the model you're preparing for. Like the book on your right, Essential Teacher Knowledge by Jeremy Harmer, is a very good source of information. There is a chapter on CLIL, on how to teach young learners and all the basic areas of teaching, learning. It's a very good source, and I have already mentioned yesterday and keep saying that there is also a DVD there, and you can watch some lessons. Yeah, you can observe some experienced teachers giving lessons. And then I think they also discuss the techniques. But anyway, it's worth looking at. And of course, Jim Scrivener is a very good author, and you can find a lot of books of his, but this one is particularly useful for either TKT's remodels preparation or even CELTA preparation. So Jim Scrivener, Learning Teaching, a well-recommended source. If you passed the first module and achieved band 4, congratulations. I'm sure you are ready to take module 2. Yeah, okay, good luck, good luck. Yes, exactly, Olga, Jim is great. Yeah, okay. So today we are focusing on the second module, assuming that you are already familiar with some teaching principles, methodology, different aspects related to how languages are learned actually. Do we just acquire them effortlessly, or we need to learn some rules explicitly and or maybe discover the rules? Yeah, we've mentioned guided discovery yesterday. I mean, it's quite tricky actually to talk about different methodology, different aspects related to methodology, yeah, because we can't plan our lessons without keeping them all in mind, yeah. So over to you now. So I have a few questions here, and I'm sure those of you who attended the session yesterday can answer at least some of the questions. So think, and then be ready to give me your answers. How many sections you think are, might be there in the second module? And what do you think they might be focused on? If you're ready to answer the next question, go for it. Okay, so yeah, those of you who are saying 2, actually you're right. There are 2 topical areas. I will highlight them in a moment. Yes, there are 80 questions. That's a very good answer. Well done. You remember that. Yes, perfect. So how long is the test? Probably 80 minutes. Very good. How do candidates record their answers? Yes, there is lesson planning there. Yeah, this component is very important. Yes, and resources, exactly, Yelena, well done. So how do we take notes? How do we mark the correct answers? I think I could see, yeah, sort of ticking, yeah. There is actually choosing the right answer and shading in the lozenge in the answer sheet. And which resources the candidates can use to prepare for the test? Any ideas what we can use? Yes, some of the online resources, obviously, some of them that I've mentioned, the course book, the glossary is very valuable, yeah. Yeah, handbook, that's a very good thing to do, yeah. Yeah, okay, I agree that the course book is really good, it's very helpful. Yes, the one by Jeremy Harmer, Scrivener's books, yeah, exactly. You know what, you can also use your experience and the course book that you've got, yeah, somewhere, and you are using them when you run lessons for your students. Yes, Swan's book, yeah, to focus on language, perhaps. Penny Ear's book, yes, Valentina, thank you for highlighting that useful resource. Yeah, very good. So yeah, when you plan your lessons, perhaps you can use some of the sources like Swan, Parrot, Murphy. Yeah, remember we've talked about some of the books that you can use to analyze language. And that's how you can be better prepared to clarify the language during the lesson. Yeah, there are also some other sources. I like Scott Thornberry's books. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, there are many others. You can also use practical materials, yeah, like course books, teaching resources for students, supplementary books of different kinds with different activities, and so on. So that's also very helpful. Flashcards, things like that, yeah. And the task types you have already mentioned. Yeah, exactly, visuals. Realia also, yeah, true. Yeah, Nadezhda is giving us a very explicit answer. Yeah, there is matching, odd one out, and multiple choice type of tasks. Great. So you remember everything. I don't know if I have to continue running this session or we can go. But yeah, thank you very much for your responses. That's been amazing. There is no such a thing as filling in the gaps. No, not in TKT. Yeah, ordering also, no. No, let's continue. Okay, good, we will do. Yeah, okay, awesome. So, yes, have a look at the information about the second model. So it is still an 80-minute experience with 80 questions. So you'll have to answer the questions relatively fast, yeah? And there will be different task types you can see here, but basically you are just choosing the right answer in each case. And then we have the areas. Yes, Valentina, I agree. The area, how to plan, yeah, so related to planning the lessons, but also there is assessment, which is embedded there somehow, because when we plan our lessons, we consider how we'll be collecting information about our learners' abilities, their progress, and so on, and what feedback techniques we can use, like immediate feedback techniques or delayed, and how we can continue planning the course for the future. Yeah, and then we have knowledge of resources, right? And we have already started brainstorming ideas which resources we can use. Okay, awesome. So, what do we do for planning, and why do we need to do? Let's focus on that. So I have a sentence, but you know what? I am sometimes forgetful, and on this slide, I've forgotten to finish the sentence. So you will probably help me, can you? How would you finish this sentence? Planning can help a teacher be organized. That's a great idea. To achieve the aims. Targets, yeah. Enjoy the job, I like it. Be confident, absolutely right, yes. To stay focused, oh great. Not to lose time, that's a very good point. Yeah, manage the lesson, Organize the activities, oh nice. To follow the lesson, yeah, probably you mean to deliver, to run the lesson smoothly, yeah. Yeah, to control the time, grab more money. That's amazing. Okay, I don't know if it is a guarantee, but yeah, okay. Organize the material, yeah, okay. Follow the syllabus. Oh, I don't know, do we have to follow it? Manage the lesson, vary, okay, yeah, so you can add variety to your teaching techniques, materials, and everything, and at the lesson planning stage, it is easy to do. Yeah, to be able to run the lesson effectively, we do need to anticipate some possible problems, and that will help us be more confident, yeah, and we'll be managing tasks with greater degree of success, I would say, yeah. Learning and teaching outcomes. Oh, nice. Okay, that's interesting, Gulfiya, that you are using both English and Russian. Yeah, to use the time effectively, yeah. Achieve better results, okay. Reflect, oh, that's great, Елизавета, thank you for that. That's a very good idea, because without setting goals, we can't evaluate the success of activities, right? Yeah, awesome. Great, okay. That's been a very productive brainstorming activity. By the way, do you do brainstorming with your students? Yeah, definitely. Okay, great. I mean, no matter what mode you are delivering your lessons in, right? Online, offline, brainstorming is so much fun. Yeah, you can involve nearly everyone, and weaker students may contribute with some emotional ideas, creativity, you know, and so on. And stronger students will be able to help you linguistically. You can elicit the target language, for example, from them. Yeah, exactly, as a lead-in. Yeah, that was going to be my next question, like when would you ask them to brainstorm ideas? Yeah, probably at the beginning of the lesson. That will help them with content preparation for the core activities. Exactly. Okay, planning. Okay, we can avoid, yeah, some kind of ambiguity, chaotic components in the lesson, yeah, messy things. And we can also, yeah, better organize things and run them smoothly with smoother transitions. Absolutely, great ideas. Right. So I'm going to show you some quotes, and all of them are about lesson planning. What I want you to do is to pick up the quote that resonates with you. Yeah, you really feel, yes, that's it. Okay, so have a look at this slide. You can actually respond with the colors, yeah? Planning is a key part, okay. The last one, yeah, the longest. It's quite hard to copy and paste it, yeah, I know. Yeah, the last one, yellow, yeah, a stimulating lesson, yeah. Key parts, yes, the blue quote. Yeah, many people are saying yellow, the long one, yeah, black. Okay, got it, yeah. Yeah, quite a few you agree that it is a very important component, key, yeah. Right. Yeah, the last one, well, you know, it's very hard to be flexible, but still being able to help your students, right? It's like being flexible doesn't mean being relaxed. It means being concentrated, focused, alert, being able to react to their responses, yeah, and meet their needs somehow, yeah, cater for their needs. About the stress is, yeah, I agree, yes, Helen. And that's why we, well, plan ahead certain things, and we also anticipate some of the problems to be able to cope with them during the lesson. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Victoria, I agree. Okay, great. Now, what we've got here is the green one is being neglected, in my opinion. Yeah. Nobody thinks that the more experience you get, the less you, I don't know, the less time you spend on lesson planning. And that makes sense to me, because I think the more experience you get, the more ideas you can have about how to run this or that lesson, yeah, which materials to take and how to do it in a better manner, more effectively, more efficiently, and perhaps you'll be thinking even more. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, okay, that too, yeah. And also the red one, more ideas exactly during the lesson, like how to react. I can do this and that. Ooh, it's mind-blowing. Yeah, exactly. So how about the red quotes? Planning depends on familiarity with subject matter. Does it make sense? No, Sergey. How come? So don't you think you need to know the subject, the language that you're teaching? Yeah, okay, in some aspects. Okay, right, yeah. Yes, I agree that you can open the teacher's book and follow their recommendations. But the teacher's book is written for a group of a particular level or age group in general. It is not designed to help teach your students. And there might be some changes that you will have to implement here to adjust the materials to meet your students' needs. So I think following the course book blindly is not a good strategy, to be honest. Yeah, exactly, Anna. Yeah, I totally agree. But of course, for newly qualified teachers, course books contain a lot of useful information, how to do whatever, like what to do at the beginning and how to introduce new materials and so on and so forth, and how to connect skills and systems. I'm not saying that we don't have to use course books at all, but yeah, there might be some elements of critical evaluation of the material before you start using them. If you're ready for that, it's a good idea. All right, cool. Now, this slide is about metaphors. I don't know what you're like, but I am keen on metaphors. I love using different types of metaphors. Like we can compare a lesson with a menu, which means a lesson contains different options, and we can choose which activities, which techniques to use to be able to motivate our students and respond to their needs. Yet during the lesson, we'll be making a lot of spontaneous decisions, like on-spot decisions, which is very important. Now, let's think about other aspects I'm clarifying here by showing you the metaphors. Choose one metaphor that you like and tell me why you like it using the chat box. Why a lesson can be compared to a game, or which aspects remind you of hard work or something else, okay? Could you give me your opinion? Drop me a line, please. Climbing a mountain, I like that. Why? Why do you feel a lesson might feel like climbing a mountain? Give me a reason, please. It's challenging, I agree. Yes, yes. The ocean, oh, nice. It is indeed. Eating a meal because it's really enjoyable, right? Step by step. Oh, that's very good. Yeah, like gradual preparation, yeah? Or gradual effort, continuous effort to achieve something. Very good. You know what? I'm not so fast at reading. Yeah, results, support. Oh my God, so many ideas. They're great. Collective process. Yeah, okay. There is an element of collaboration and achieving a goal. Yeah, very good. A TV show. I like that. A wedding. English is a bride. Oh, that's so cool. That's amazing. Why I've decided to show you a wedding is because a lesson is a kind of a series of activities which are quite predictable if you follow certain patterns. And a wedding has a procedure too, and that's why they have something in common. Like there is a kind of role that you know that you'll have to take during the lesson, yeah, or maybe you will have to follow certain steps, yeah, and you know what's going to happen in general, what you'll be starting with and what you will continue working on, something like this. So there is an element of, well, sequencing activities. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Kind of ceremony-like type of thing. Yeah, good. A game, oh, something unexpected. Perfect. I like it, Galina, yes. And you can fall in love in English. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, amazing. Okay, a conversation. Of course, of course. That's what we do in our lessons, right? We want to promote a lot of student-student interactions, a lot of meaningful conversations, hopefully. Road adventures. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, probably I need to add a metaphor related to a roadmap of some kind. Yeah, because, you know, with different destinations and then the final goal, yeah, that we want to reach. Exactly. Yes, perfect. Okay, if we keep in mind these metaphors, actually, we can help our lessons. We can ensure that our lessons are multifunctional. Yeah, there is an element of cooperative interaction. There is something to put in order, to be put in order, like how we can ensure that the level of challenge is increasing during the lesson, yeah, and how each following step is manageable because the previous step has helped our learners prepare for the next one. There is also a role-based culture and different type of collaborative activities that we can introduce and so on. And of course, an element of fun. And if we talk about a quiz show, talk show, or a game of some kind, there is an element of enjoyment, yeah? Either by setting up a competition or because it's just something that we like doing due to our preferences, like eating a meal, for example, just a nice activity, right? Okay, and if you keep in mind metaphors, yeah, probably you'll be able to come up with different types of activities and techniques to ensure variety, to keep your students motivated. Now, so something more serious. What does lesson planning entail? Okay, your ideas first. Stages, absolutely right. Aims, identifying the aim, yeah, the outcomes, goals, yeah, goal setting is very important. Yeah, how to achieve, which steps to take, absolutely right. Interest, so we keep in mind our students. Methods, very good, methods, yeah, presentation techniques, approaches. Timing, very good, yeah, timing is important. If we have only like 40 minutes available, yeah, there isn't much time to spare. We need to really be focused and make sure that each stage has a function, yeah, an aim, a clear one. Logic, yeah, exactly, okay. Yeah, but teachers' aims, perhaps you think about personal aims, which we also set for ourselves to be able to improve, yeah, ourselves as teachers. Yeah, how to teach, so yeah, methods, approaches, again, what's our perspective? Time management, okay, so timing and pace, that will be involved. Yes, what's the lesson for? So the function of the lesson actually will affect the choice of activities and techniques. Reflection. Receiving knowledge is like digging the well by a needle. Oh my God. Okay, that's a nice metaphor, another one, yeah. Assumptions, very good, yeah. Some elements of assessment. Yeah, making assumptions about our learners' preferences, their needs, very good. Yes, choosing a variety of activities. Teacher talking time and student talking time, great. Yeah, of course, anticipating problems. And if you anticipate a problem, that there will be hopefully a solution, right, for that. Yeah, okay, great ideas. Well, there might be something else that you haven't mentioned. Let me see. Actually, you've mentioned nearly everything I wanted to elicit. Yeah, interaction. That's the one I was hoping to see. Very good. Okay, so that's what I've got about lesson planning. So we have quite a few important aspects that we need to consider when we plan our lessons. And it doesn't have to be a formal written plan, yeah, but it's always good to have one, of course. But you can sort of decide, make your decisions, what your priority is like, what is the main activity therefore, and how much time you'll be allocating for that core activity, unlike other preparatory activities, which won't take that long. Yes, okay. And also, yeah, your attitude. It's more about managing the lesson and the activities in general. Yeah. In the lesson planning, at the lesson planning stage, probably you're not planning to be a patient here, but there might be a kind of mental note. Yeah, here, take a pause. Let the students answer this question. Yeah, don't answer the question yourself, something like this. Yeah, good. Okay, hello, Yelena. Right, now, let's talk about the key functions of a lesson. Yeah, remember the metaphors. I have already highlighted a few, and here is a summary. So a lesson is a goal-oriented effort, and that's why we set priorities for ourselves and for our learners, and quite often they're stated as an outcome from the point of view of the learners. Like by the end of the lesson, the students will have revised, for example, this or that grammar, or they will have practiced, I don't know, listening for specific information or something of this kind. Yeah. Then a lesson is also about giving opportunities for interactions with different peers, partners, with the teacher perhaps. Yeah, so there is an element of cooperative interaction. Yes, okay, yeah, they should be able to do something for sure, Nadezhda. Yes, absolutely right, yeah. So we want to maintain a positive classroom atmosphere and establish a very positive rapport with our students so that they're motivated and they feel relaxed. There is nothing like stress or pressure there, and they are eager to contribute. Hopefully, a lesson is a series of free choices, and there are various activities that you offer to your students. It's a role-based culture, which I have already highlighted, and that's why you have to play different roles, like being a monitor, being an assessor, being an instructor at different stages, and students will also have to play different roles, yeah, working with each other or working on their own, or presenting something, or maybe taking the responsibility to run an activity, or at least a feedback technique, for example. Yes, and set clear goals is very important. Yeah, setting goals is a key. And a social event with elements of ceremony, which we've talked about. Yeah, good. Now let's have a look at the lesson plan components. These terms appear in different questions in TKT Module 2. So have a look at them. I think we've mentioned nearly all of them. There was one that we haven't talked about. I think it was class profile that you haven't mentioned. But I think it is very important to keep in mind what your learners are like, yeah, and what they might be interested in, what they perceive as their goals. Like, for example, I want to work on my grammar. That's quite a typical attitude. But you assess them, you can see that they actually need to speak more, yeah, and focus on accuracy less, for example. So there is something that they assume, and there is something that you can actually identify as their need. Their needs, exactly. We've mentioned timing and interaction patterns. Language analysis is something that we haven't talked about, but it is important to anticipate linguistic problems and being able to clarify some of the things, yeah, like meanings of unknown vocabulary or pronunciation of some tricky words, patterns, you know, highlighting some features of connected speech, or maybe, I don't know, spelling or the form of grammar structures, yeah, so many different components related to meaning, pronunciation, form, appropriacy. Yes, focusing on fossilized errors is particularly important. I agree, Anna, yes. And this is something to keep in mind and anticipate, so the students may continue making this error, and I will have to remind them, like third singular as, yeah, which I sometimes put at the top corner of my whiteboard, and I just point to that occasionally, like, remember? Remember? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Ekaterina, I've just given you a hint how to do that. You can keep reminding of that, yeah? Like if you take a piece of paper and show them occasionally, yeah, this, can you see? Yeah. And if they see a card, they don't even need to read. It's a reminder. Don't forget to add an S if the subject is he, she, it. Yeah, something like this. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or you can actually ask one of the students to keep an eye, yeah, and spot some of the things to show the card. Honestly, it's very beneficial for that student who will be responsible for that, yeah, because if they are in charge, they feel they're responsible for that, yeah, this kind of delegating responsibilities reinforces learning. They feel more motivated and they become more accurate themselves. Okay, so here you can see the components. We don't have any questions here, no problems. Yeah, and Valentina is already highlighting some correction techniques. Thank you very much, Valentina. Let's focus on the lesson components. I'm going to show you some statements, and you'll have to match the lesson plan components to the statements. So let's have a look at the following slide. So be clear about what you want to achieve. What's that about? Type in your ideas in the chat box. Aims, of course, it is about your aims, goals, objectives, something like this. Absolutely right. Yes, okay, now be careful. The next task is not going to be a matching activity. I'm going to give you 1 minute to read all the statements and decide which of them are incorrect in your opinion. And type in a letter in the chat box if you think we need to get rid of one of the statements or correct them. Yes, see. Okay, Ekaterina. Yes, well spotted. Smart. So if you think C is wrong, how would you change this statement to make it better, to improve it? Okay, I can see, yeah, I can see that F can be improved too. I totally agree. Yes, so we have 2 problems here. Yeah, and you've identified them well. So we have C and F. So Vladislav is already given us an idea how to correct C, start teaching based on the last topic. Yeah, adapt the course book, take into account the learner's needs. Fantastic ideas. Thank you all. Yeah, check the progress. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great. Yeah. Include an element of revision. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great ideas. Yes, so rely on students' background knowledge, yeah, and maybe diagnostic assessment. Use supplementary materials, absolutely right. Great ideas. Do we have to use supplementary materials? Is it a must? With something optional? Why would you select something supplementary? Of course it is optional, right? So why would you, if there is extra time, good. Perfect, yeah. Yeah, maybe for consolidation. Yes, and I can see Anna is suggesting to change the way of a lesson, yeah, in F as a better option. I agree. Yeah, maybe more practice. Yeah, great ideas. Sometimes the course book materials are far from perfect and we want to make certain changes, yeah, to make the lesson more memorable, yeah, or more motivating, exactly. Very good. Okay. You're just reading my mind, seriously. You have the same ideas. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, for icebreakers or warmers. Exactly. Yeah, okay, perfect. So yeah, here is what I've got as an improved version of C and F. Have a look. Does it make sense? Yeah, obviously. Yeah, so actually, yes, some of the ideas are very similar to what you were saying. Yeah, so thank you very much for your responses. Okay. In the following couple of slides, I'll be clarifying different terms. So first, we're going to focus on different types of aims. Now, over to you. What type of aims do we usually state for a lesson? I have already seen some ideas earlier in the chat box. Objective, okay. Main and subsidiary, very good. I wanted to see that. A personal aim, fantastic. Yes. Okay. Interesting idea, something strategic, yeah. On skills and systems, very good. Yeah, that too. Communication, I'm not sure what you mean here. Educational, okay, probably if you work with young learners, that'll be important, yeah, and their cognitive development is also taken into consideration. Yeah, okay, skills and systems, I can see, yeah, thank you, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, stage, very good, Christina. So we've mentioned already all of the aims I'm going to highlight. Yes, so first of all, we have main lesson aims. And in the main lesson aim, we probably will be choosing whether the lesson is going to be on skills or systems, specifying the skill and the sub-skills we'll be working on. Like, for example, if we work on receptive skills, yeah, it might be a lesson on reading for specific information, just referring to the same example in the context of, for example, I don't know, sport or something else. Then subsidiary aims are likely to be about other skills and systems. For example, speaking about sports, yeah, or learning some lexes related to sports, yeah, and so on. Yeah, your stage aims will actually reflect your main and subsidiary aim. Yeah, like if you have 6 stages, probably you have about 6 aims, and then those will be highlighted in the main and subsidiary aims. And the personal aims will be about your teaching skills you want to focus on, like, for example, reducing teacher talking time or trying out a new technique like guided discovery in a lesson on systems or something of this kind. Yeah. And again, if you work with young learners, perhaps you can also state some other aims like educational or cognitive, or involving students emotionally somehow. That might be important too. Yeah, being student-centered, exactly. So here you can see the definitions of different aims and objectives. Have a look at the first one. Let's figure out what this definition is defining actually. What's the term? Yes, this is an aim. You're absolutely right. Okay. Now the following slide is not animated, so I want to see your ideas for number 2 now. The main aim, absolutely right. Well done, Julia. You got it right. Okay, awesome ideas. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Number 3. I'll show you the answers in a moment. What's number 3 in your opinion? Aha, I can see it is already appearing. Stage aims. That's number 3. You are totally right. Great. Let's move on. What do you think number 4 defines? Yes, it is a subsidiary aim. Perfect. Okay, if you're ready, let's move on to number 5. What's this definition about? Okay, you're really fast. Thank you very much. It is about a personal aim. Very good. Right. Number 6 is quite challenging. So have a look and decide what it is defining. I have the definition of the main aim in number 2. So this is not a repetition of the aim, but it is somehow similar and different at the same time. Remember, we have aims and another way of stating them as an outcome. What's the synonym for the outcome? Objective. Gorgeous, Svetlana. Well done. Absolutely right. Okay, and we have number 7, which also starts with an O. Yes, this is the outcome. Okay. You know what? You are really smart. Thank you very much for your answers. Now, all of these definitions come from Tkt Glossary, which means that these terms might be tested in Tkt second module, yeah? Well, second module perhaps in particular, yeah, but it might be mentioned somewhere else as a term that you need to understand. Right, so if you want me to give you some examples, here you can see some ideas to illustrate what aims are like. Yeah. So the main aim might be stated in this way. Yeah. To help the students develop certain skills, and then you specify the sub-skills. So here I'm giving you an example from a lesson on reading, but obviously you can state the same aim in a similar way related to different other skills like speaking, for example, to help the students develop speaking skills for fluency, for example. Yeah. Then if we are talking about lessons on systems, then probably we'll be planning to practice the target language, but before that we need to clarify the target language. So to present and practice this particular structure in that particular context. Yeah. So for example, to present and practice the present simple or the, I don't know, used to structure in the context of past habits. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, just to give you a couple of examples. Then to contextualize the topic Yeah, this is your lead-in, and it may appear in one of the main aims if necessary. And then the stage aims, yeah, will be actually similar to your sub-aims or main aims. Give a model for speaking, to provide practice, either controlled or freer practice of a particular target language. If you want to state your aim as an objective or as an outcome, then probably it will start with by the end of the lesson, right? And then students will have practiced, for example, or they will be able to do something better. Yeah. And your personal aims may depend on your priorities, what you're working on, and there are many different aspects of teaching you may want to consider as your personal aims. Right, so any questions here about a name or a stage aim or an outcome? Okay, everything is clear. Okay, let's continue then. Okay, now I've got a matching task. On the left, you can see options, which are presented as a diagram, different types of lesson aims. On the right, you have the aims, examples of different aims. And I can see Ekaterina is already really fast matching the first one. Right, okay, everyone agrees that to improve whiteboard work will be a personal aim. You're absolutely right. Okay, I can see some answers for number 2, and there are different answers there. Yeah, because we have this term revise, it's likely to be a subsidiary aim, to be honest. It's not likely to be the main aim. And those of you who are saying it is a stage aim, you are right, of course, because there is an overlap in between sub-aims and stage aims, of course, yeah. Okay, let's focus on number 3 now. Okay, everyone agrees that it is either a stage aim or a subsidiary aim. And yes, that's right. And probably there'll be both in a real lesson. Yeah. And in number 4, we all have the main aim. Well, obviously, reading can also be your main aim. Yeah, developing reading skills. But because speaking sub-skills are specified more explicitly, this is likely to appear at the top of the page, like this is my main priority, and then you can give additional information about some other aims, which are sub-aims. Yeah. So we have a clear context, favorite kind of sport. We also have the type of speaking task, a conversation. Yeah, and the priority is quite explicit. So here you can see the recommended answers, but I have already highlighted that sub-aims and stage aims here might be interchangeable. Great, perfect. What type of task you can see here? Again, we have ABC options and some activities. So what type of task is that? Who can tell me? It is matching again, which is pretty similar to what we've just done. So have a look at the activities and decide what their aims likely to be. I can see a great variety of different answers. Oh my God. Can't we agree? Okay, okay. I can see quite a lot of you agree that number one is A. Yeah, the teacher asks students to complete blah, blah, blah using this particular structure, referring to the grammar section in the course book. Because it's a reminder, it's just to revise, to recycle something that they have already studied previously. Yes, so number one is A, and number two, I can see quite a lot of answers which are, again, different somehow. Yeah, but many of you are saying C, and that's right. Let me just highlight the right answer, first of all. So what kind of strategies? Yeah, so first we ask the students, how might this finish? Yeah, and then we play the final part of the video, yeah, to confirm. All right, so great ideas. Thank you very much. Any questions here? Do we have any confusion, or we can move on? It's just I could see quite a few answers which were different. Okay, okay, yeah. So, okay, just a few other. What about B? So when you have matching tasks, there will be some of the options that you don't have to use at all. For example, you have only 5 activities, but 8 aims. Yeah, then you won't be using all the aims. Or vice versa, you have 8 activities and 3 aims, and some of the aims will be used several times, right? So there is an element of that. And for the sake of this presentation, I'm just showing you some extracts from different activities, from different test tasks, to show you a variety of tasks, and their focus is different. How not to confuse subsidiary and stage aims? Well, I don't think there will be a matching task when you have to identify which is subsidiary and which is stage aim. It's not likely to happen. But if you can see the whole lesson plan in front of you, there might be a cover sheet with the main aim and sub-aims and the procedure where stage aims are highlighted. Then probably you can figure out which is which. Okay, let's have a look at one more activity. Well, 2 more activities and also 3 more aims. Okay, so we all agree that one is C, or nearly everyone agrees at least. Yeah, so obviously when you listen and do something without repeating, you're not focusing on pronunciation, you're focusing on just listening comprehension, yeah, understanding the sequence of whatever is highlighted in the pictures, yeah, is more important than saying the words. And for the second one, the focus is different, yeah, focusing on the stresses. Absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, that's it, Louisa. Yes, perfect. Okay, great. Okay, some more terms that you have to be aware of to be more confident on the test day. Assumptions, class profile, differentiation, and teaching aids. So how would you define assumptions? What are they? Your ideas, please? Who can think of a concise definition for assumptions? Assumptions are often confused with anticipated problems. What's the difference between anticipated problems and assumptions? Yes, it's something good. It's something that students are already aware of, or they may be they may like certain things, so it's about their preferences. So it's something that is going to help us in the lesson. So for example, if the lesson is on sports, yeah, then and the students are really keen football fans, yeah, that can help you. Yeah, maybe level related. Yeah, absolutely right. Okay. What does class profile include? What kind of information? The level of students. What else? Yes, background knowledge, age, very good. Their interests, preferences, perceived needs, culture, that might be important. Yeah, general information, true. Maybe nationality, yeah, if you work with multilingual and multicultural groups, yeah, that will be important. Abilities, yeah, maybe their strengths and areas they need to work on. Yeah. Okay, health issues might be important if you know there is a problem. Yes, obviously. Diversity, yes, yeah. We typically work with mixed ability. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so this is basically a description of the learners. Yeah, and whether they study general English. Oh, yes, great, perfect. Let's move on. If we have differentiation, which information you can include in that section? What's that about? So I can see that you're highlighting different areas where learners might be different. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's not only about their abilities, of course, but maybe just different interests, different type of styles exactly, yeah, background knowledge, yeah, and so on and so forth. And there will be some stronger students and some weaker students, but their strengths and weaknesses are likely to be different, right? And if one student is particularly strong at a certain area, it doesn't mean that they are strong in other areas, yeah. And if you change the topic, they may become a weaker student, yeah. So that's important to keep in mind. And teaching aids. Could you give me an example of a few teaching aids that you may use? Really, yeah, perfect. Yes, technology, equipment, yeah. A role play is a technique or an activity. Gestures, yeah, probably, yeah. Smartboard, okay. Are there any people who like using smartboards? Phonemic charts, yes. Different visual aids, flashcards, yeah, perfect. Posters, yeah. Course books, of course, yes. Well, interaction doesn't belong here. Tablets, probably, yeah. Maps, yeah. Worksheets, yeah, very good. Videos, yeah. Toys, yeah, great. Okay, lots of ideas, yeah. Life worksheets, yeah, why not? So we have some definitions from Tkt Glossary. Just have a look briefly and type in a plus if the definitions make sense. Yeah, mind maps, yeah. Yeah, teaching aids can be actually student created. They don't have to be published sources, exactly. Great ideas. Yeah, just to give you an example what a class profile might be like, I've got an extract from one of the lessons. Yeah, that must be my lesson, but I'm not sure now. So have a look at this. Makes sense. So probably you have collected some information about your learners and you have something like this in mind, not necessarily in a written form, but this is something that you find reliable, yeah, and you choose the activities based on that. Now, quite often, keeping in mind your learners, and then when you open a course book, You exactly, Katerina. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not so sure though. Yeah, it might be from my Delta lesson, but I don't remember. Anyway, so what we've got to consider is what might happen, what may go wrong. So we know our learners, we can see the material. Now, ooh, I can see what may go wrong, right? So I'm talking about anticipating problems. So when you anticipate your problems, you keep in mind certain areas, like the topic is not good enough, yeah? Like environmental issues. Oh, my teenagers will hate that, yeah? It won't be appealing. Or mixed ability, yeah? Stronger students are going to dominate, they will finish faster, and they will be bored to death at the end of the activity. Yeah, I have some technology, but to be honest, it's not reliable. It won't work. I'll have problems, but this is a lesson on listening. I do need to rely on technology. Yeah, something like that. Some tasks may be too long, which is not good. And feedback that you want to give, yeah, maybe somehow messy. Right, exactly, the content. Yeah, true, Nadezhda. Yeah. So, what can be done? Let's consider each problem step by step. So the first one, the topic is not appealing, environmental issues, but we've got it in the syllabus, it'll appear in the test, and if you prepare them for an external exam, you want to raise the awareness of the lexis, yeah, and different things related to that topical area. So you need to use it somehow. What do we do? Yes, exactly. Yes. So to introduce the topic, you can actually, if you introduce it well, yeah, you can motivate your students. Yeah. So there will be a kind of element of selling the topic to your students. Absolutely right. Yeah. Yes, you can use a video or a game or create a project for them. So yeah, whatever you find motivating, that, yeah, personalizing the topic, usually, yeah, usually it is working. Yeah, absolutely right. Okay, perfect. So we have quite a lot of ideas how to change that. How about number 2? I think some of your ideas actually can be used here, like project work, because students may collaborate, and even weaker students may find it useful, yeah, that their ideas are appreciated. Yes, teamwork, exactly. Extension activities, okay, yeah, extra tasks, yeah. If you give fast finishers an extra task, then what kind of feedback will you be giving at the end of the activity? On the previous task or on the new task? It may actually, the whole thing may get worse, yeah, if you do that. On both tasks, yeah, and other students may start asking questions like, what are we talking about? We haven't done that yet. Yes, yeah, you can ask them to discuss their answers with their peers. Very good, yes. Assigning mentors, go and help, yeah. Yeah, strong students help weaker students, peer teaching, great ideas, yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, that's a lot better. Some of the classroom equipment won't work. Okay, what can be done? Okay, and what does plan B involve? What's there? Okay, use another laptop. Use the whiteboard to play the recording. Well, if it is possible, okay. Yeah, play from a mobile phone. Yeah, that's a good idea. Improvise, yeah, okay. Repair, oh, it won't be always possible, right? Skip that stage, but this is the most activity in the lesson. Yeah, of course you can do that, but storytelling. Okay, so you can actually become the source of listening. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't actually rely on that all the time, because students need to be exposed to a variety of dialects, accents, and so on. But yeah, as a kind of backup plan, it can work to save you. Yeah. Okay, number 4. Some tasks may take too long. Shorten, yeah, exactly. So probably you'll be adjusting, yeah, the tasks, skipping some of the things, yeah, or shortening them. My favorite technique is, how many questions can you see? Let's say 6. So choose 4 questions and try to answer them in 5 minutes. If you have time, you can answer the rest of them, yeah, something like this. So tasks with open kind of endings, yeah, so that the students can decide how many to do, how many questions to answer, and how much work to focus on, yeah. Okay, feedback may be unclear. Yes, concept checking questions can work. Grading your language is very helpful. Yes, we need more practice. Okay, true, maybe. If you have time, be more specific. Yeah, very good. Giving specific example is a very good idea. Thank you for that. Yeah, follow the rubric. Visual feedback. Yes, creating visual prompts is very helpful. Yes, the magic wand. Yes, I always use it, you know. Great. Amazing, yeah. Okay. More questions. Yeah, okay. So, well, the most important thing is not to rush through feedback, because it might be really clumsy if you do that. But if you allocate a sufficient time for giving feedback, hopefully everything will be smooth, yeah, and appropriate, yeah. So I'm going to show you some ideas. And I think we have already covered all of the aspects. And the next slide will show you an extract from a lesson plan, just to illustrate some of the components. Give me a signal when you're ready to move on. Perfect. Okay, yes. So what we've got here. So once I had to teach this, well, not once actually, hundreds of times, I had to teach this lesson based on English file, pre-intermediate. And you can see that I'm highlighting main aims. Yeah, the lesson was on will, won't type of predictions. Sub-aim was to focus on the verbs, like win, lose, pass, fail. Personal aims, I always like working on timing, and giving feedback is another area of my interest. Right, then the class profile, you can see a brief description, which is quite important for this particular lesson. And I can justify why it is important. Those who study in the evening come quite tired, and you need to keep them motivated. So you need to think of a variety of activities. In the assumptions, I'm mentioning something positive. For example, students may know some verbs. They may help each other, so I can promote peer teaching. Yeah, for the syllabus fit or timetable fit, there is a connection with other lessons. Like in the previous lesson, we've covered some future forms, yeah, and then in the following lesson, we'll be talking about something again future related. So the resources that I'm relying on come from these pages. I also created Quizlet cards and some possible problems and solutions you can see. For example, some students might be late, as I have already mentioned, so there should be a variety of activities. I can see that you like English file, and probably you also use Quizlet. That's great, that's great. Like-minded people, you see? Awesome. So, the procedure, yeah, I'm not going to show you the full lesson plan. It's just the beginning of the procedure. So the first stage, somehow I've forgotten to name the stage. Who can tell me what's the name of this stage I'm describing here? Yes, of course. This is an example of a lead-in to set the context, to get students motivated in the topic of the lesson. And we talk about the picture. We use visuals quite a lot at this stage. Yeah, this activity won't take long, and there will be an element of student-student interaction so that they can chat to each other about the ideas. And that's how we can increase student talking time in general. Exactly. So this is an extract from TKT. Have a look. At the top of the slide, you can see a box with different terms. And then you have definitions and examples, A, B, C, D. So what do we have to do? Let's match. Let's do matching. So what do you think A is likely to be? Which number? Give me the number. A is 5. Perfect. Well done. Okay. So B is 9, and you are absolutely right. Yes, it is. C is 1. Perfect. Well done, you. Okay, and hopefully D is 4. Amazing. Right. Okay, so that's been a piece of cake for you. You've been well prepared for the task. Hopefully you prepare your students for tasks and activities so that they can find them manageable, right? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about interaction patterns. Yeah, so here you can see the recommended answers, keys at the bottom of the slide. And now let's talk about interaction patterns. So in the middle of the slide, you can see an extract from Jim Scrivener's book, who highlighted different ways of how we can arrange group work. So for example, they might be pairs, if it is possible, depending on the furniture and your room that is available, or students are sitting back to back or face to face, yeah, in a row, and then one of the students can be moved somehow, yeah, or wheels, yeah, onion wheels, some people call them, yeah, or inner and outer circle type of wheels, yeah. Again, it's a very good mingling technique. Then different types of teams, like opposing teams or enemy corners. So what else we've got? Buzz groups is very good, yeah, when students work on different type of projects, and they can also contribute to other groups if you relocate them occasionally. Yeah, and some open class activities, yeah, like a panel, yeah, or public meeting or whatever. Many different things. On the left, you've got some activities. On the right, you've got some interaction patterns. Now let's pick up brainstorming as an activity. Give me the interaction patterns that will be perfect for brainstorming. Yes, probably in groups that can work well, yeah. Any other ideas? Pairs, why not? Okay, do you have anything else in mind? Buzz groups, why not? Panel, of course, a plenary discussion, yeah. Yeah, we can brainstorm a whole class. I don't think it's very good for individual work, yeah. But yeah, you can give them some time to think, and then probably they'll start discussing. Yeah, there will be an element of individual work there. Okay, let's pick up something else. For example, information gap. Who knows what information gap is like? Tell me which interaction patterns we can use for this type of activity. Mingle, probably pair work. It's likely to be pair work, to be honest, because information gap involves different pieces of information for different students, and then they have to collaborate to do a task, to answer questions, for example, and there will be an element of asking others about that, yeah. So, for example, one of the information gap activities is when students have two different pictures, yeah, and they need to find the differences between the pictures. They can't look at each other's pictures, so they'll be asking each other questions. And Mikona, that's a good idea, why not? Yeah, it'll be really noisy, but it'll be fun. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, let's talk about reading and listening. Reading and listening, which interaction patterns are best? Individual, yes. Reading and listening are solitary activities, and of course you can ask your students to discuss their ideas later on, but listening and reading will be done individually. Perfect, yeah. Now in TKT, sometimes they use different abbreviations, and one of the most frequently used is related to interaction patterns, yeah. And you may find these abbreviations really helpful, yeah. So interaction patterns, the first group of abbreviations, acronyms. Then we have worksheet as well, yeah. And we also have board and compact disc, which is quite outdated, but who knows, it may appear again, yeah. Or there might be whiteboard that is contracted, or something else. So use your common sense and try to figure out what abbreviations mean if they appear on the question paper. Okay, that's another sample task. Are you ready for the challenge? So let's do that. Perfect. 1A. I'm not sure. Yeah, I would agree more about 1B. It looks like it's a personal aim for a teacher to improve their time management. Yes, 1B for sure. I'm confirming that. 2D, perfect. I can see quite a few answers already. You are absolutely right. (3D), I can see a few correct answers. Those of you who think that 3 is not D, reconsider that. And number 4. Yes. Okay, now the problem is it's very important to read the instructions. Sometimes in the instructions you can see that you can use one and the same option several times, and sometimes it won't be possible. So those of you who are confusing some of the answers, that's okay, because I haven't revealed all the instructions for the sake of training, but perhaps when you do the test, the real one, it'll be very important to have a look at the instructions first. Yes, so here you can see the recommended answers. Hopefully you don't have problems. Yeah, okay. Practice listening for specific information. It's not likely to be a personal aim, because this is something for the students, not for the teacher, right? If it is the first time you're running a lesson on listening, then probably it can become your personal aim, but it's a rare case, yeah? Okay, so let's have a look at assessment. Yeah, a couple of important ideas related to the assessment at the end of the session. So first of all, assessment activities might be of two kinds. Yeah, there will be some formal tests that we actually run, and students are aware that they're being prepared for the test. And informal, when students don't know that you are assessing them, at least formally, yeah, they're doing an activity, they're participating actively, and you just monitor and collect information. Yes, I can see you're also giving me some other terms which are more relevant for post-TKT qualifications, yeah, like in Delta, for example, Module 1, we talk about objective and subjective tests, yeah. Of course, that might be covered in TKT, but I haven't seen that. Well, I don't remember at least. Formative assessment, yeah, also, very good. Yes, there are many terms. We're not going to cover all of them. Have a look at the glossary, and summative at the end of the course. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. So, what activities can we use to assess our students? So let me show you. What do you use? Give me your ideas, please. How do you assess your learners? Well, tests. Okay, what kind of tests? Kahoot, good. What kind of tests, please? Tell me more. Online quizzes, good. Dictations, good. Grammar tests, yes. Word walls, yes. Progress tests from course books, I guess. Placement, crosswords, perfect. Essays, that's interesting, very good. Speaking and writing, so you assess different skills, yeah. Interactive tasks, okay. Okay, lots of great ideas. Yeah, so there are many different ways, of course, of assessing learners, and yeah, just coloring, exactly, acting out, matching, yeah, perfect. Different activities can become actually tests, yeah, if the focus is on accuracy, the form, and so on, yeah. So what we are doing now, yeah, some of the tasks are actually to test you, yeah, so there is multiple choice, or a gap fill, or true false, yeah, and so on. There are many different types of activities, and the focus might be from skills to systems, yeah, or a mixture of those. Yes, that's what we do in real life situations. Now, if we want to assess our students, what might be the reason behind that? Why do we assess students? Why do we use, for example, reading comprehension tasks? Give me an idea. Yes, to see their level, yes, if they're making progress, to diagnose their strengths and weaknesses, very good. Check understanding, perfect. Yeah, great. See problems, yeah, very good. Okay. Yeah, okay. To motivate, oh, that's smart, yes. The effectiveness, to evaluate the effectiveness of the techniques we are using, absolutely right, yes. To see the gaps in knowledge. Yes, for encouragement, absolutely, yes, because they want to know that they're making progress, and we raise the awareness of their achievements. Yeah, perfect. Yes, progress, okay, great. Yes, to prepare them. Okay, I've got a matching task. Well, you know, matching is very good for this type of online event. That's why I use them a lot. So have a look at the reasons and then the situations, and think how to match them. Okay, many of you are saying that one is A. Okay, let me have a look. A new class. Students do not prepare for the test, yeah? Yeah, it looks like, yeah, a diagnostic type of tool, yeah, you're right. And 2, you're saying is C. I think I've got the same answers. Let me just clarify. Yes, okay, that's it. So, and C is likely to be, yeah, so this, the teacher is highlighting an area they have to focus on. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, okay, great. Awesome. So here is a question about using course books. We had a heated discussion at the beginning about different resources you can use, yeah, and a course book was mentioned. So if you follow a course book, yeah, give me a plus. Yes, I do. Okay. So if you do, why? How do you find it helpful? If you don't, tell me again, why not? What? It depends. Okay, Vladislav, it will be really hard to elicit an answer. Not to miss. Very good. Yes. Yeah. Okay. There is a kind of sequence of events. Yeah. A lot of materials is being recycled. Yeah. There is a system. Behind that, there is a syllabus. Yeah. Very good. Program frame. Exactly. Yeah. Yes, there is an element of revision. Absolutely. It helps greatly. It's a time saver, of course. We do follow books. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Great idea. So I can see that many of us are for using course books. There might be some, of course, opponents of course books, yeah, and those of you who prefer light, well, material light type of lessons, yeah, dogma approach, you must be really experienced, and probably it takes a lot of effort actually to plan lessons like that, to be able to allow time for recycling, revision, consolidation, a lot of practice and so on. It's not easy if you don't follow course books. Yeah, so I totally understand. And a variety of approaches. Yeah, pictures are also good. Yeah, visuals are good there. So here is an extract from a book. It's actually a supplementary book. Yeah, it's called Elementary Communication Games. The activity is on the right. And because the slide is not very big, I am going to clarify what you can see here. Section A is about the role play. Like you, it's this day, you are going to this city for the day, and you want to, and there is a list of objectives, like you want to visit the cathedral, you want to go to the art gallery, things like that. Yeah. And then the second part, B, is another role. Yeah. The same day, and you work in York Tourist Information Center, and you have this kind of information. So there is an information gap activity here, which will hopefully motivate students to communicate. So, because it is about planning a day out, yeah, think about this sample task. Keep in mind that it is odd one out. There is not in the rubric. And I can see you already started thinking about that, yeah? Yes, those of you who are saying 1B, think again. 1A, think again, because 1C is correct. Yeah, reported speech. It might be not that obvious. Yeah. But if we look at the whole instruction, yeah, which is available, of course, when you do the test, yeah, it'll be clearer. Yeah, and remember we have not in the rubric. So present simple questions. Yeah, what are the opening hours, for example? When does it open? Something like this. Prepositions of time. Yeah, it opens at, and then so on. Yeah. Number 2. I haven't seen number 2. Yes, B. Very good. And number 3. Yeah. Okay. Yes, so we have places in town. That's a good idea. Free time activities also possible, but train travel, nothing about that, not relevant. So yes, that's the one, odd one out. Yeah, absolutely right. Okay. So not Y2 is B. Because children don't often go to a tourist information office and they don't ask questions, right? Of this kind. And we have not in the rubric. It's an odd one out. Yes, Tatiana? Okay. Now, to finish the session, we also need to cover some resources and teaching aids. And I remember you've been very productive when we brainstormed which resources you can use, yeah? And some of you mentioned an interactive board, or it can be just a whiteboard or a blackboard, or I don't know, a green board. Yeah, you may use cork boards in your classrooms. There might be things like an overhead projector, which may look differently nowadays, but yeah, it is still the same. Different types of flip charts, posters, different types of online tools, for example, and roll a die website, yeah, or irregular wheels from Macmillan actually website, yeah. Yeah, they do, Nadezhda, I agree, yeah. Or maybe some videos from Super Simple Songs, I don't know, website. I don't know if you're using it. It's good for primary and preschoolers. So yeah, different kind of resources can be used. Super Simple songs. I think it's just obvious there are different simple songs there that are not good for teenagers, but of course songs can be used for teenagers in general, just not from that website. Okay, yes. Let's have a look at different aids and teaching materials that are highlighted here, A, B, C, D, and students' activities. So it's another matching task for you. Have a look. Okay, so I think the level of challenge is not high enough. Yes, number one is A, that's obvious, very good. Okay, 2 is C, perfect, well done. Okay, and I can see many of you are saying that 3 is D, and you're absolutely right. Yes, that's been smart of you. Yes, well done. Okay, so this is quite straightforward. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a matching task, but you know it's quite hard to show you a slide with texts to do something more sophisticated here. Let's have a look at some reference resources. By the way, which tools do you use with your students? Do you use dictionaries with your students? Give me a plus. Okay. When you plan your lessons, when you prepare for your lessons, do you use books like Swan and Parrot? Do you refer to Scrivener? Okay, maybe some course book suggestions. Yeah, maybe. Okay, good. So there are different types of resources we can use for planning our lessons and for running our lessons too. Have a look at the box with the resources highlighted and decide which resource will be appropriate for situation A. Okay, the level of challenge is increasing, I can see. And you're not shooting the answers right away. Methodology, yeah. Yeah, maybe dictionaries. Okay, but you want to find an activity, remember, with a minimal pair. Yes, on the internet, of course, you can find some activities for sure. Remember yesterday, I recommended using Hancock and McDonald website, yeah, on phonology. Andrew and Underhill is sharing a lot of ideas, which activities to use, yeah. And of course, there might be some supplementary books, like pronunciation games, again by Hancock. Yes, okay, number 2. Let's have a look at number 2. Okay, yes, the website. Okay, which one? Teacher's book, yes, probably. Yes, about learners' errors, very good. Yeah, maybe dictionaries, okay, good, yeah. Colleagues, absolutely, yes. There is a nice book, Smith and Swan, Learner English, and there is a chapter about Russian learners. We do recommend that chapter for our CELTA trainees, but obviously it might be useful for everyone. Yes, Smith and Swan. Okay, and number 3. Yes, different methodology books, yeah. The internet, of course, yeah, teacher's book, yeah, just as a starting point, perhaps, the teacher's book, but obviously you need to know more than your students. So sometimes it's too shallow. Yeah, colleagues, yeah, British Council, yeah, good website, yeah, different websites for teachers, books, yes, okay, awesome. Very good. Yes, so here you can see some ideas that I'm highlighting for you. Okay, one of the tasks you may be asked to do is to evaluate the material. Yeah, obviously it's not like evaluating materials like in Delta Model 1, but just to identify the components, like a kind of matching task or something of this kind. There might be an extract from a dictionary or from a course book given, and then you have to match the components to the information. So have a look at this extract and tell me which is number 1. Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay. All right. It looks like it is a dependent preposition. Yeah, absolutely right. And number 2 will be a part of speech. Yeah, I totally agree, because N stands for a noun. And finally, number 3 will be, yeah, should be a definition. Absolutely right. Great. Okay. All right. So why do we need to use supplementary materials? So we use different types of supplementary materials, like websites, you've mentioned them, different types of books, yeah, games, online resources. So the question for you is exactly why to use them, yeah, to expand the material, yeah, to motivate students, to entertain, good, but the fun should be meaningful, keep that in mind, yeah, very good. To use authentic materials, yes, to add variety, great ideas. I can't read all of your words properly, and because, you know, the information goes too fast in front of my eyes. Yeah, broaden the horizons. Okay, good. Yeah, to make lessons interesting. Absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So to inspire them, to motivate them. Yeah, I can see lots of similar ideas. Yeah. Enrich what? Enrich. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, vocabulary. Okay, expand their vocabulary range. Yeah, perhaps. Great. So here you can see some of the reasons to use some supplementary materials. And I'm going to narrow that down, and I'll show you a task in a moment. Oh, nice. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Marina, that's very smart. Yeah. We want to reassure them. Yeah, like you can understand authentic texts. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So if you're ready for the task, here it is. Some purposes of using materials. Yeah, and some ways that teachers can adapt texts. Have a look. Okay, 1C, many of you agree. We have a couple of occasional different answers, but yeah, the great majority is saying 1C, okay. And that's correct. Okay, number 2, E mainly. Yes, you're totally right. Okay. And number 3. Okay, so they will have to focus on features of discourse and of course linkers to be able to put the paragraphs in order. So yes, absolutely right. 3, it must be A. Yeah, it's not about the register, it's about putting things, sequencing things, yeah, and what can help us, the glue that we use to put ideas together somehow. Yeah, exactly, cohesion, perfect, yeah. When you open up your course book, probably you can see some of the disadvantages and some of the good things about them. So to be able to evaluate course book materials, you need to consider the following things. Here you can see on the slide. We keep in mind the objectives of our learners, their level, and therefore if the level of challenge in the course book is good enough, yeah. If the instructions are good, if the approaches that are suggested using there are relevant for your learners, if the topics are appealing. You've mentioned that sometimes topics are not really appropriate for teenagers, for example, yeah. So that may affect the choice of books. If there is a good variety of topics, tasks, and so on. If you can see that the items are recycled and reviewed regularly, and there is enough practice, and then if there is an element of focusing on study skills, can they become better learners by following this course book? That'll be great, yeah. 3 and 4, which means, yeah, interesting topics and tasks, yeah, and a variety of texts, yeah, I agree, yeah, that's very important. So, if you are interested in finding out more about teaching in general, yeah, and how to plan lessons, I can show you quite a few sources of information, starting from something like Learning Teaching by Scribner, which I have already mentioned earlier. Some of the things that I've mentioned throughout the session, and like Scott Thornberry's book Beyond the Sentence, which is about discourse analysis. Some of you mentioned cohesion, so you might be interested in reading more about discourse features. Some basic sources are also here, like Hammer, The Practice of English Language Teaching. It's got a chapter on nearly everything you need to know for TKT. Some more interesting sources, like if you are interested in material light lessons, then Scott Thornberry collaborated with Luke Meddings. They produced Teaching Unplugged. It's about dogma approach to language teaching. Yeah, and some other sources that you can see might also, yeah, help you, including Penny Ear's book, of course, on teaching. Yeah, and yeah, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. We have like a couple of minutes. Yeah, and Thank you very much for being active. Let me see if we have, yeah. What books can we recommend? Yeah, I have already highlighted the books. How to get certificates, that's a question for Yulia, not for me. Why do questions on the exam tend to be more difficult? Well, because we can't cover all aspects in a 3-day training, I'm afraid. I'm just choosing the most important areas. And, you know, some of the tasks due to technical difficulties, it's not possible just to use them in a training of this kind. But if you want, you can have a look at the handbook and do more tasks, and also find sample papers online. Yeah. Okay, it looks like I've answered all the questions. Yeah, thank you very much. I really enjoyed the second day of our course. I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Thursday. We'll be talking about classroom management techniques and many things that are relevant for how to run lessons. Yeah, yeah, okay. Thank you.